What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the 5 reasons I believe that the Yamaha R7 is technically better than the ZX4RR. You guys probably know by now that I have both the Yamaha R7 and the ZX4RR, and a lot of you guys are probably like, well, yeah, you already made a video saying that you think that the ZX4RR is better than the R7. Not necessarily, guys. I just gave 5 reasons why I think it could be. I still freaking love this motorcycle. I definitely have not been riding it as much as I used to, which kind of sucks, but that's going to change here shortly, because I think what I'm going to do to it is I'm going to start doing a build series of turning it into a track bike. But before I remove all the fairings and actually go all in and make it a full track bike, I'm going to add all the things to the motorcycle that you guys would still want to have on a street motorcycle. For example, I already have the Öhlins steering damper en route. I already have the bracket, so we're going to do that installation and get that going for this bike. I've got the full steel braided brake lines. I have the FTECU ABS delete. We're going to delete the rear brake on this thing, and then a bunch of other things. I did get a clear Puig for it. So we have a bunch of things that we're going to do to the motorcycle, and the last thing I'll do is ultimately turn it into a track bike by ripping all the fairings off and finishing that deal. What kind of sparked that for me was the last track day that I did was on the ZX4RR, and I didn't bring this out here. And don't get me wrong, I had a ton of fun with the ZX4RR out on the track. This little thing freaking rips. Having that quick shifter auto blipper, listening to that screaming inline four, yeah, it's so much fun, guys. But the ergos aren't there, that's for damn sure. That ZX4RR is it's almost like a Ninja 400 ergos with a freaking badass engine in it. So what I noticed was it had a track timer on it. I was able to get several track laps in and actually get them timed fairly close, and I was roughly 9 seconds off of being able to compete in the CRA with the Twins Cup. So I was thinking, well, shoot, I was just screwing around out here. What if I put some effort into it? Could I potentially race in that Twins Cup? I think that would be freaking rad. So next weekend, hopefully, if I can get on the track, it is sold out, but I'm going to go anyway to see if maybe by the end of the day they'll let me on or something. And we're going to use the new race box I got and see how many laps we can get with the R7 and the ZX4RR to try and see which one I can ride faster, and hopefully I can get close in times with the basically stock R7. Because in my opinion, if I can get close on the stock R7, if we do all the fun stuff to this bike, lighten it up with all the fairings, I think there'd be a good chance of at least lining up on a grid and having some fun. So that's kind of where I'm thinking I'm going with this motorcycle. But to get to the point of the video, the 5 things that I believe that make this motorcycle better, a better decision or a better purchase than the ZX4RR. And that's going to first start with the price. A lot of people, at least in the comments, like, to me, when we're talking about a $10,000 motorcycle, $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 motorcycle, I know $1,000 is a lot of money, but when you're spending that much already, you should buy what you want. But most people have complained that, well, the ZX4RR is more expensive than this motorcycle. I totally agree with you. It is. It's like $1,200 more than this bike. So up front, you're getting a better deal on the motorcycle by buying the R7. It's cheaper, no doubt. Number 2 is an important one to me, and that is because one of the main reasons I purchased this motorcycle and got rid of my ZX6R back in the day was it was race power. A ZX6R, it's all high, screaming, it's ripping. You don't have a ton on the bottom end, but on the top end, it just lights it up and goes out to 16,000 RPMs and screams, just like the ZX4RR. You have 2 motorcycles essentially. You have one with little to no power. If you stay within like 7,000 RPMs, you're just kind of cruising around town on a nice safe motorcycle. And if you run her all the way out there to 16, you now have like a legit, screaming its little heart out race bike. It's like having two different freaking motorcycles. It's very trippy. Where the R7, because of its this twin motorcycle, that 270 crank gives us that amazing sound, but it is also, what makes it cool is it is perfect for the street. Your rev range is so usable the whole way through. You have that poppy little wheelie freaking machine. It's basically like a, well, it is a MT-07, which is probably one of the most popular mid-range motorcycles for hooliganing, playing around, having a good time, because there's just so much torque and it's all down low. I already feel that front tire. Number 3 is a good and a bad thing about this motorcycle, as opposed to the ZX4RR, which is the R7 is in a full-on, full-fledged race bike position. Your hands are down, you're fully in a tuck, and it is not exactly a comfortable motorcycle to ride as your daily rider on the streets. But with that being said, it's a race motorcycle. The whole point of it is it's a racy R-Series motorcycle. If it had upright handlebars, this thing would be lame. You might as well just buy a frickin' an MT-07. There's no point in it. Just take your MT-07 and deck it out and turn it into some kind of a race bike if that's what you're looking for. But we're not buying this bike for that. We're buying this bike because I don't have to go buy clip-ons. I don't have to go buy rear sets. It's already a race-styled motorcycle. The ZX4RR is in a basically a somewhat upright position. It is very comfortable. I could ride the 4RR to and from work way more comfortably than I could ride this R7. This R7 is, it's not fun for my 45-minute commute, in my opinion. But I didn't buy this motorcycle because I wanted it to be the best commuting motorcycle. I bought it because I wanted a little mini race bike. And it's in that position and ready to go, which I think is freaking rad. And when you go buy a ZX4RR, in my opinion, you're thinking the same thing. I want a mini little race bike, but what you're getting is a Ninja 400. Now you need clip-ons. Now you need your seat picked up. Now you need rear sets. Like, if you want to turn it into that nice aggressive race bike position, you're going to have to do a lot of the stuff that I did to my Ninja 400 to try and give it that race position. Now, it wasn't a full race position, even after I did all those things to it, but it was considerably better than the almost upright Ninja 400. So that would be number 3, the whole ergonomics thing. Number 4 is going to go to electronics. Obviously, this R7 is dumbed down. It literally has ABS, and that is it. That is the only thing on this motorcycle that is going to help or hinder you while riding the bike. It is pretty much a raw motorcycle. Now, if you remember any of the videos in the past that I've talked about ABS on motorcycles, in my opinion, Yamaha's, well, at least this R7, the ABS, especially in the rear, absolutely sucks. I hate it. You can't even touch that rear brake and you're already triggering it. It is so not fun, in my opinion. That, and now that I want to make it into a track bike, I really want that ABS gone. I would prefer to be able to obviously just shut off the rear and keep the front, but that's not how this is going to go down. We're going to drop the ABS delete on here. We're going to have no more ABS on this motorcycle whatsoever, which means this bike will have no electronic help in any way, shape, or form. It's going to be a raw motorcycle. But in my opinion, I don't think you necessarily need it. These aren't that fast of motorcycles. Like, if you were on a R1 and you were just cranking that throttle in a corner and you messed up, yeah, you're going to slide out that rear tire. You're going to freaking wheelie like a champion. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing will wheelie when you're coming out of corners. I have noticed that. It definitely will come up on me. Like, when I'm hanging off the side of the bike coming around a corner and I grab too much throttle, yeah, this thing will, I lose that front end comes up on me, which is a little scary, but you know, just managing that throttle, I'm able to keep it right back down on the ground and keep getting power to the ground. So it's not that bad of a thing for me, and I think it is definitely a good learning experience as well, where it's not like it's gonna freaking loop out and wheelie me, but I am getting that front end up just a little bit, forcing me to learn a little bit more about motorcycle control coming out of corners, which I think is kind of cool. But the ZX4RR, it has everything on it. It is completely slaughtered with amenities, with traction control, ABS, you got your drive-by-wire, so you got your quick shifter, auto blipper, all these little whiz-bang things that could break on you that, in my opinion, I don't think you necessarily need, but they are really cool. I'm not saying they're not cool features. I love them. The quick shifter auto blipper on that motorcycle is absolutely fantastic. But something that might add into that is a lot of people do like having a lot of extra electronics on the motorcycle, which I don't say is bad. I would say it's questionable on these smaller motorcycles. You'll notice even on like the 600s, they don't have a lot of electronics. And I think a lot of that just has to do with simply there's just not that much power there that you need it. I think you can learn to ride within the limits of the motorcycle without just having so much raw power like the leader bikes, that where they really are just going to get crazy with you if you're grabbing too much throttle, and those electronics will save your ass. Now if we're talking just street riding, yeah, the electronics are cool. If it's raining out there and you're on the ZX4RR, you're going to get that knockdown of power from the traction control to keep you from getting, keep you from eating crap. So I do think that the electronics are cool and good on these motorcycles if you're just purely a street rider. If you're not, I think these motorcycles are better raw. Personal opinion. But that would be number 4, electronics. ZX4RR is slaughtered with a bunch of them, and the R7 is a very raw motorcycle. For the last thing on this motorcycle is going to go to the styling. I don't know about you guys, that one is kind of like a what looks better or what doesn't look better. Yeah, sure, we all have like a different view, a different opinion on what makes a motorcycle look cool or not. But to go with the way I see it is, like, I kind of like the KRT graphics, which is weird because I am not a green. I'm not a fan of the color green, but I think that the ZX4RR's graphics that they put on it actually look pretty cool for being green. As for overall styling and like fairings and the body, I think this R7 just looks so much better. This looks like a real race bike to me. This thing looks freaking rad. If it's just hands down, in my opinion, like looking at the 4RR or the R7, I'll take the R7 on pure looks alone. But those are my 5 reasons. I could friggin' chit-chat and rattle off for the rest of the day, and I won't do that to you guys. I appreciate you watching, appreciate you hanging out with me, and yeah, so much more for the R7 to come. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!